We're live now. I just need to let one person know.
Yeah, I look.
Hmm?
Yes, I look.
Mm-hmm. Alright, we're good to go.
This playoff.
I mean, we haven't even talked about that as we get things going. I mean, it's a tough road for the Titans, having to play New York yesterday, now San Francisco today. It's going to be a marathon for them. San Francisco rushing to the point first here. They're going to try to zone the Titans out a little bit as the point unlocks in about 12 seconds here.
Yeah, you can see right now, Super trying to...
I've always wondered where Rascal was. The first fight, how he got picked.
Rushing to the point first here. They're going to try to zone the Titans out a little bit.
So Nacho's Ford already used bubble.
As the point
Super
unlocks
backs
in
up.
about 12 seconds here.
Yeah, you can see right now, Super...
How? I guess he just got low.
And Rascal actually is going to get picked up by something too, so a quick team fight win here for the Vancouver Titans. The rest
Yeah,
of the Shock did
so
not get back behind
They use back.
Now you're gonna
a
see
little bit of like miscommunication from Shock. Valuing resources, and they kind of took like the early fight, you know, like low ground for poke. If anything, you want to use this pill or don't have draw tools. Where are my tools? Do I have to? I guess I have to go live first. Monka W. Please work. There we go. Okay. So what I was saying, yeah, just if anybody joins, we're screwed. Like high ground always has the advantage on goats because you decide the engagement, and that's what Vancouver wants, right? They're like a hard engagement team, and Shock's like much more like a playing angles and like kiting team. Who's screwed? What do you mean? I just don't know why like, SF wouldn't take like an even fight in White Room. And then if they were gonna play point, which I think is like a good decision for them, right? It's like a automatic bait for Vancouver to push into Shock, and then for Shock to be able to like kite back if they hold here. The problem was they held up here, and then just stood here kind of waiting for Vancouver to push. I was gonna say if someone joins. Oh, that was me. Q hasn't been like working. If like someone joins, it desyncs the entire video, and then you can't get back to the timestamp. So I'm not sure how Q works with public broadcasts. So that's why. Oh, okay. So yeah, I think Shock should have started here and not here. And whenever they did kite, it needed to be a team-wide kite, and like they were more so doing like a soft reset, but it got Rascal pushed out, and then here, first point. So with Goat, you never want to be completely grouped on your Rhine, right? You want to have some distance like this, so that whenever they push anybody, one side can pinch, right? But you'll see here, like Super continues and wanting to rotate, and the rest of the team just doesn't keep this healthy distance. Oh, please don't. Okay, thank gosh. See, look at the distance right here. And now this open Simon suited just gets so much charge right here. Boot comes in, Super split even harder, and he just farms grab easily. The Shock was very indecisive. So for you guys, if you are Reinhardt in this situation, and you're wanting to rotate this way, holy crap, that error is horrible. But if you're wanting to rotate this way, it's good, right? Because you know Simon 2 won the fight with high charge, and you don't want him to get the early poke in the fight to build grab before you can engage or win the engagement. So using this cover and then rotating your shield with your rotating your team with your shield here minimizes Zarya's damage, and then you get the fight on like halfway on point, and that forces like a Reinhardt engagement, right? But you need to. It's more the backline's fault, but you still need to call this rotation like a 1, 2, 3, and then like you don't want to amp speed, but switch to speed and then rotate as a team.
Some of the members of San Francisco in capitalizing on that this time.
Yeah, they put the
So yeah, comms are, you can just see comms are weak.
on that off angle. You'll see him on the Zarya constantly trying to get behind the tank.
Farmers grab.
Someone's using its ultimate here. Luckily, Violet has his transcendent storm.
The bumper's really low, and Troyobin got out, which is good, but did get picked. And then once again, they're split right on that line the entire fight. Now that shatter and then Rascal's flank was huge for Bumper, because he shattered Zarya and didn't get bubble.
Another grab for Somensu coming in. Can he get value? Does in the pick.
And then in this point, Sinacho's high charge has all 3 supports alive and can just hold them off.
Electing to just play it safe and wait for some of the members to come back, fight it as a full unit.
Yeah, they were gonna
So this entire map, I felt like I didn't get to watch all of this matchup. I wasn't at home, but this map specifically, I felt like Vancouver played better, even though Shock won. So right there's what Super does best, okay? So Super intentionally has his team safe in the back line, but he's holding the front, okay?
Yeah.
And the reason for this is he wants... Vancouver is wanting to push and kill Super, like, immediately. They want to use, like, let's say Vancouver wants to use 80% of resources to force, like, 100% of their resources to save Super. Okay? Which gives them an advantage in the, like, fight as it continues. But whenever they force 80, use 80 to push onto Super, and then they use just 10% to back Super up, as an example, right? These statistics aren't factual. No, it's not Overwatch related, but how's it feel good? Dude, I'm so much happier and like ease of mind that high school's over. It's so nice. That's kind of the whole premise of kiting is you give up space in order to have the ability and advantage in the fight. But once again, like the problem here is Super took the fight early, used bubble to swing, right? And then Twilight does land a headshot, Discord a headshot. But at this point, I believe he's even outside of Moth's like speed. So whenever Slime is speeding onto Super, there's like it's impossible for Super to get out of this like damage range, right? And then Choyobin's not even DMing, and the bubble's already down, so Super's getting absolutely no support. And that's not Super's fault. There was an obvious 1, 2, 3 engagement called because the bubble went on the second Super swung, but then there's no follow-up by any of his team keeping him alive.
Yeah.
Right, and he jumped back, tried to shield, but there's just no saving him. You know, Trans came in late, everything.
Violet drops it. That's a lot of healing gone for Shock. It's going to be Vancouver with the advantage for the rest of this. They're going to use the Graviton Surge anyway. But Twilight, there we go.
Rascal's rally came in a really good time.
But San Francisco's still on the road.
Super got back really quick, which was huge.
Kept them safe during the grab, but I don't know, man. Titans still looking okay, but the tanks have come back. Now with the
Okay, so this is really good Ryan play from Super, especially, and just his team supporting him. So full HP, swinging a bumper, but Beat comes in, allowing him to continue to swing on the shield. So that means that Vancouver gets no value out of the bubble because it didn't help them win the fight against Super. And then Super continues to brawl, and then Choyobin comes right here. He took this route, right? And booped Bumper farther into Shock, right? So you see Vancouver's line is more like this. And then whenever Choyobin came over this wall and booped Bumper straight into Shock, he's like instantly killed, which basically guarantees the fight. Actually, no, he wasn't killed. He was at 39 HP, and he dropped down to 9, and somehow they stayed alive. Tell Robtoxx he's a beast. Yes, Robtoxx, you're a beast. Okay. So this is... I feel like Shock kind of... Once again, they just didn't seem coordinated at all this fight, right? It was an amazing boot by Choyobin. But look at where Shock is. Like, they're playing so defensive after they got this amazing boop to split Bumper. And Bumper was already low HP before the boop beam came in. Look at Shock's health and, like, Vancouver's. Like, they're playing defensive for no reason. It was just the micro rockets on Bumper. Okay? But then Sueminsu gets demeched. The trade with Axel because of the shatter. Which is worth it because Diva basically is still alive, right? And then once your Brig's down and you've already used speed to kite for Bumper and get Bumper out of that, you can't engage. So ultimately the same kind of same kind of situation that we had up here with the engagement and the ability advantage. Same thing here. Whenever they booped Bumper, it forced a lot of Vancouver's resources to get Bumper out. And then once they use all their abilities, they don't really have any defensive capabilities. And they also cannot engage because they don't have bubble, they don't have speed, and then their abilities are also off cooldown. And then after Haxel was picked. So
Yeah.
it was just lost from Vancouver after that. So ultimately they should have killed Bumper, but even though they didn't, they still got enough value out of the dispositioning. Very, very few divas in SA use divas boosters as effectively as like Owl divas do. Almost on cooldown, you need to be repositioning or playing the front line, taking some damage off, and then retreating to the back line, and then letting Lucio and Briggs passive healing heal you up, right?
Yeah.
So that's like more so good diva play, use of thrusters, and then also of course constantly looking for the dispositioning of the enemy Rhine. So that's just a lot of value that SA divas normally miss out on. Almost every diva I've coached doesn't maximize ability usage. The charges, wow, that was cool to see overhead.
Huh.
So you guys got that charge here to here. Because you basically if they charge, they're here, and if you don't charge, you're here. And that means you're forcing your team to rotate like this, which allows you to be split easier. And just the earlier positioning advantage is really high value. So, really good rotation. Ryan, keep that in mind. This is very important. So, in lower ranked matches, Super shouldn't really be here, in my opinion. I think he should be holding more up here. He's full health, has armor even, and they're not even looking to engage while Vancouver's rotating. So it's misplayed from Shock. You always want to look to engage during the rotations. Hey, do you guys have chat open just for Portuguese comments?
Yeah, they're getting
You can just like chat and reply, okay? But anytime like a team rotates, you want to be looking to split. That's always when it's best to engage, if in the first fight, and also when you're defending. Anytime the enemy is like rotating, So because of that, you have to make sure your rotations are really good. So Bumper is in front of his team by a lot. Okay, watch how he like waits and the coordination, and then they end up grouping in a circle that big before they go to point.
Team's positioning here as the point gets ready to unlock.
See, they wait, and then look how grouped up they are going to point. Okay, that's making sure they don't get split, and that's just good comms. So whenever you're the Reinhardt in the front, it's important that your Zarya or Diva, and especially your supports, call when to wait. But you have to be going into the fight ready to wait. Okay.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, sorry. So yeah. Anytime you rotate, expect your team to be behind you, because especially if you pin out of spawn and then you have the speed boost, it just takes your team time to get back.
Mm.
All right.
Right now, Bob.
So
Shock on the outside looking in right now. Are they going to push forward here?
Yeah, Shock playing behind cover. They're going to try and push in.
All right, point unlocks now.
okay, right there. Watch super.
Yeah, Shock
Vancouver made big misplay right here.
playing behind cover.
I think I should stun team. Hold up. Stun. We'll like deep analyze this right here.
The outside looking in right now. Are they going to push forward here?
Yeah, Shock.
So super comes in. Janu. Divas should always like tap DM before the bubble comes in, but you mostly want to save the majority of your DM for after the bubble, in between cooldowns. So who got stunned? Bumper? Yeah, Bumper got stunned because Super has bubble.
Cover. They're going to try.
So
Yeah.
this is where they messed up, right? Bubble and Janu, okay? There's this much space in between the team's front lines, okay? They bubble Janu to boop Shock, but even then you don't want to bubble your Diva ever. So the bubble Janu,
Point unlocks
get boop, and then that boop is really good from Slime. Don't know if that was coordinated,
a little bit on that.
but they need to be looking, because they saw Simon Su's ally bubble. They need to be looking to play super aggressive on Ryan. They used all their DM early, and then they used bubble. Like, this should be a much more aggressive engagement onto Bumper.
Hawk's on a lot of trouble. Ooh, that's a fast transcendence coming out from
Still, okay.
Twilight has his as well. He's gonna
So they missed out on an opportunity there.
these long, protracted fights with
Shock
both
did.
teams. It's a knife's edge, man. As soon as one team makes a tiny
Huge stun.
stun, that's right, Bumper cut short in the middle of his
Oh.
ultimate animation.
Solo grab just to split him.
And now the graviton surge still
Yeah.
Bumper nearly
They didn't kill Bumper though. Why not?
his ultimate animation didn't actually get the stun off. And now the graviton surge
A break armor pack came in,
nearly goes down, but now the
and then the pin.
Bumper charges through for the kill onto Rascal, and finally
So yeah, Shock, a ton of misplays from them. They should have won that fight a lot earlier. So the second you see Azaria's ally bubble go out, assess your team's resources, and you should know what abilities your team uses in the poke phase and like pre-fight, right? And then the second you see that ally, your whole team should know, like, we should aggress and Ryan. We should like push, especially whenever Bumper's that far up, or the enemy Reinhardt is contestable. And even if it's not Reinhardt, if somebody's out of position that much, push on them. They have no bubble to save them. Hacks will aggressive rally, and then they full aggress, but they use nothing to stabilize. I think it was just uncoordinated. Did they bubble Bumper?
Yeah.
They bubbled Bumper way too early. Bumper wasn't even swinging yet. Okay? So that was a mixed play. Simon Sue. Watch when the bubble comes out. The bubble came out, and Bumper didn't get a single hit of damage out from it. Like, you should be amping speed, because you don't need heals. You have rally, right? And then Bumper should still be shielding, like, up to the fight, because burst damage is going to come out the first from this SF Shock. whenever they hear rally, because they're going to burst damage and like kite back. So that's why shield first whenever your team rallies, or actually anytime there's a engagement, right? Whenever both Rhines first meet, you need to shield the first little chunk, and then that allows your Zarya to use your bubble to get charge. And then when after the fight develops a little bit, and it's mostly about paying attention to the enemy Reinhardt and his positioning, and that's whenever you want to call like a 3-2-1 bubble, just to like swing, get yourself some gain some ground as Rein, and then get your Zarya her other 80 charge, right? So yeah, Vancouver didn't do that at all. This fight, they were really aggressive and ended up being uncoordinated with the rally, and then Bumper pushing in. So now Bumper goes around the corner, and he's already like below half. Haxel's look at he's almost out of the healing. So Bumper goes way too aggressive without even Zarya bubble anything. So he instantly gets killed. And once again, that's why 3-2-1 engagements are so important. And I'm not saying that Vancouver didn't do 3-2-1 engagement, but their entire team didn't act on one. Their timing wasn't correct, and they weren't all ready for the super aggressive like rally engagement. So that's something that needs to be discussed during planning. Look at what Super holds this wall, and then whenever they push out, he kites with them, right, following their movement to keep them on this line. Okay. Super holding the wall. In my opinion, he should be swing. No, he shouldn't be. Anytime you're on this side, because you swing right to left, right? If Super was on this side, right, you have to be on this side. But any choke where Reinhardt can swing right to left, because you swing like this, and your hammer will go around the wall and get cleave, and then they cannot hit you because the Reinhardt's hammer will swing like this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's why like chokes. Anubis' second point is a really good example. Okay, if they go right side and you're defending, you can hold that wall and swing into the room on Anubis' second point. You get what I'm saying? So yeah. So yeah, look, he perfectly body checks Bumper, keeping him on his side, and then the second Bumper would aggress onto them, he would get bubble and kite back. So yeah, really good use of SF Shock's ults. Got a really nice grab, and it was like shatter in the grab, so that was just big on Super's part. If actually, we can go back watch that. Bumper just up shield. And he shoots with bubble, right? Super, you have to track bubbles. It's so important. So Super knows ally bubble went out early. So the second Bumper drop shield, you can even go for the prediction because they won't have the bubble for Ryan to swing on Grav. Okay? If they haven't used the ally bubble, you should never use your shatter as like a prediction if your team is grabbed. Because if the enemy team is smart in any way, shape, and form coordinated, the Zarya will bubble so the Ryan can swing for free and still block the shatter. So Super, they used ally bubble, then they get grabbed, gets booped back, and then, okay, so the boop came out from Diva Bomb, which split these two. So Diva's around the corner. His shield got destroyed, and then Super shattered. Okay, so that's what happened. Still knocking down two main tanks, grabbing the squishies, playing super aggressive on that. Actually, where was Sinatra? Was he behind? I guess he was behind. I'm gonna assume he was behind. So just once again, like that's why tracking bubbles is so important. Should dictate almost every decision you make as Reinhardt in GOATs. And then just, oh no. why. Okay, Super, you see they're not coming this way. I don't know why your team's not holding here again to catch them if they come off high ground, right? They're playing... There's no reason why they should be playing defensive. Old companies are equal. You need to be holding high ground. Because look how early Bumper drops, okay? Sure, they DM him, but he's not bubbled. I mean, it's kind of okay in their situation because they see Shock is split. But you want, like, Rascal here, and then the rest of the team holding, like, here, right? So if they come this way, good. If they drop, you can contest, right? Rascal's there, Bumper drops. You bash, charge bubble him. He's gone. He's a goner. So I don't know why Shock doesn't have that setup. Because it basically requires Vancouver Titans to bubble Bumper on the drop and then like drop as a team, coordinated. And then in that situation it's Sinatra. If they drop uncoordinated, you bubble Super is aggressive. If they drop coordinated and realize where Rascal is, bubble goes on Rascal and you peel for him and play aggressive that way. Okay?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of like a higher risk, higher reward. But at the same time, like, your holding point, it's equal fight. There's no ults out. Go for it. You haven't done it yet this map, so could be the one opportunity they got. Did Shock already use Ally Bubble? Okay. Shock was holding here. Super got split. Don't know what call would they have made. Like, probably Kite. Okay, they probably just called Kite. And Super just rotated around back. They went out, regrouped, right? And so, overall, they lost the engagement. Because they gave up space and they didn't get much value at all for it. Okay? For example, like Bumper now has his bubble to swing on them when they're coming through this choke. Okay? But because they made a mistake, they didn't commit to the fight. Instead, they decided to keep point presence and just reset so they get another fight. Okay? So that's why, like, kites and, like, soft resets are really important. That was a soft reset. And then they re-engage with trans. Huge. Rascal. Little split, buddy. Look at that. Rascal, look, this is Haskell's healing, so it's the same, right? Look, he's not healing anybody on his team. Rascal is. So that's, yeah. You want to be playing here so that Bumper cannot swing at all without bubble. And you know they use bubble here, right? Whenever he was contesting here. So whenever you re-engage with trans, break players, this is where you really need to be with your Reinhardt. Because one, you would be able to stun this because it didn't have bubble. And two, your healing is not getting anybody in your team. And so Rascal's getting very little ult charge. So beat to stabilize. Another beat to stabilize. So yeah, that's just back and forth ult usage. Ultimately going in favor of Vancouver because they got value out of the first shatter. Actually, they got value out of taking the point for free. Then Shock could have used trans, and they traded shatter, right? So no ults to take space, trans to re-engage, got no value out of trans for kills, and then they invested shatter and got more advantage. So that's kind of how the ults are traded. But still worth it from Shock to use their ults because now they're at 90 and they also force trans and beat and rally. Okay?
Okay.
So just because it's a losing fight doesn't mean, because like if Vancouver didn't counter those ultimates, just the trans would have won the fight. If Rascal was grouped up and they pushed on Bumper because they didn't have ally bubble, right? They would have been able to most likely kill Bumper and win that team fight. So Zen players, if you do trans, in any situation, make sure a target's called for your team to focus.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that bubble just came in because they're planning on kiting. They wanted him to get high charge because they knew the grab was going to come in. If you are planning to use an offensive ult early, it is 100% okay to farm charge, right? Because there won't be a Rhine on Rhine engagement. You get the value before, and it like doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And that's just for Zarya. Yeah, you need your bubble any other time, unless you have Grav. That was a good attempt from Bumper. That was a really good attempt at a shatter. That's a huge bomb. Good boop. Really good from Rascal. Peel for the Rhine, and then nice shatter from Super. Almost. Skip. Pay tweets.
Oh, shit.
Any questions?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Alright. The king of all Rhine maps. King's Row. Oh, I didn't even I debated myself.
Eat, sleep. Eat, sleep.
Who's asleep?
What? What?
What are you saying?
Oh, nothing, nothing.
I like it when you go deep, Yoki, don't worry. Okay, Sinatra, very first fight, Zarya, you can literally do whatever you want as long as you're giving you space. Look at him. He's give me ult charge, and then wait. He never uses. Look how much damage he takes, right? He never right here.
Yeah.
He should use his bubble to get charge.
What?
Sinatra.
Ah.
Like look right here. They're cutting back. You don't need your. You know they're going defensive. Don't use your bubble, right?
Right.
Zen, okay, like that's fine. You took damage. Just reposition the wall, right? But then they're still holding this position, and then you see you peek the corner. Use your bubble. And all that damage came in. He never got charged from it. So I don't know if that was I just don't know. I think the plan was from Shock not as much to play the poke and play the Rhine on Rhine engagement, right? Because Shock's playstyle is a lot more about kiting and baiting than it is about hard engagements. Super follows a little bit more of mono. He's kind of a balance between mono and bumper, right? So I think Sinatra didn't use his bubble to get charge, but mostly to gain position. And if you see right here, especially, they're literally just throwing bodies into Vancouver Titans just to get presence. So where Simon Sue used both bubbles early, Sinatra and Shock literally just jumped in with both bubbles. And then he got a really good stun on Haxel. So it was literally every single person on the Shock just dove into the Reinhardt, and they got a stun off. I don't know how successful that is though. I've not really seen that much playstyle of that, so I don't know much about it.
That first pick, Danny Lim, one of our insiders, spoke to the Titans before the game, and the Titans said they were most concerned about Violet. He's a young player, he's a rookie, and him coming in, they said he didn't have the finals experience last time.
Janu.
Now that he has that under his belt, they think he's going to perform to his usual standard, and that would be the difference maker. That first pick gives us a lot of information right there. Huge hole.
Okay, one thing for you Reinhardt players. You're pushing a payload for free, right? They are holding here. But payload's there. That means you can get it up to here for free. Okay? Super saves 100% of his shield, just hugs the wall, doesn't take poke, right? And that way, whenever he does come out for the engagement, he has a full shield, where Bumper's shield is discounted, right? He has a disadvantage in that situation. Bumper does. But I don't think Bubble came in for Super. Yeah, that's where Bubble should have really come in, but I think Sinatra got limited by payload. So, just a misplay from Sinatra, I guess.
Mm. Oh.
Okay. So yeah, Bubble should have come out for Super, forced him to kite, and they're all low HP. Which, just that one miss Bubble, like, look how bad of a position Shock is in now, just because of that one miss Bubble. So, once again, Reinhardt, anytime you want to engage, it needs to be like 3, 2, 1. And I know Bumper kind of met him, but just small things like that. Because a lot of the other SA teams won't be this coordinated. Okay, they won't be coordinated as far as saving their bubbles for the exact second Reinhardt swing, and then they won't be coordinated especially on the engages, team-wide. And if you are, that gives you a big advantage.
Meanwhile, rally now from Rascal as they walk in. Graviton Surge comes in from the Titans where the follow-up kills. Bumper tries to come through, doesn't get one with the charge. It's going to be the transcendence for the Titans as they just try to keep this fight going. The Shock back off. They are more than happy to
Super got booped 3 times. All he wanted to do was swing on that grab.
The thing about the Titans yesterday is that they played a close match against the NYXL this season, have talked about the Shock being an aggressive team. But if you look at the take opportunities, they've been waiting for teams to all in Super. Then they double down, throw the bubbles onto him, and that's when Sinatra goes crazy, right? Meanwhile, Titans, they tend to play it.
Okay, so what do you guys do in this engagement? They have beat Shatter and close to bomb, and you have these 3. You see Bumper Shield's... Is it already starting to crack? Bumper Shield? No, it's not. Okay.
Maybe, yeah.
Hold this line for as long as you can. Sinatra was alive, right? So he still has his charge. Simon Sue didn't, so he has low charge. They're in a position where the longer the fight goes on, you have the advantage because yours already has a higher charge. And then you also, if they use their bubbles to engage or get charge, then you can use your bubbles to engage, right? And get space. So you're kind of playing the waiting game. Who booped him? Watch Bumper. He gets booped. Moth. Where is he? Is he already up here? I think he is.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Look at this. What a beast. So, just to confirm, right? Moth is counting down like 3, 2, 1. Bubble goes on Super so that whenever he does shatter, he doesn't get stunned or anything out of it, right?
Yeah.
And then the boop goes up. Oh, beautiful, boys. Fatty, shatty. But, how did Shock still lose this? Instantly a counter shatter, and they got beat. You didn't. Pepe hands. So it's really good play, but you gotta always watch the counter shatter, and that I'd say that's also somewhat rascal. Bumper was bubbled though, so I think Super got greedy, right? Ideal take play. I know. I mean, they shouldn't have known Bumper had shatter, right? Because there was this grab back here that Bumper got the swing in a lot. So they knew Bumper had shatter for sure, but if you're Reinhardt and you're going for a play like this, you shatter everybody except for Ryan. You know Ryan has shatter. Every Ryan would always be looking to counter shatter. So you have to shield the first chunk just to, like, if it's a 5, like, okay, if you shatter and you get 1 pick, it's a good shatter, right?
Yeah.
So as long as you prevent the counter shatter and you let your team, the other 5 on your team, kill 1 person, there's a success. Everybody just coming in saying Robtoxx best tank in SA. So, F in the chat for Gui3. What's up, Mohin? Mohin? Is that how you say it, right? I assume so. Wait, what's Direct Relief Charity 2018? Gui3. Never mind. Continue the FUD. So, you gotta, like, shield at least while Bumper still has bubble, because if he still has bubble, you are the one and only thing. What's up? Who am I? You're the one and only thing that can prevent your entire team from getting shattered whenever Bumper has bubble. But if he doesn't have bubble, then you have Rascal, because like Sinatra used both of his bubbles whenever Super went for the shatter. And I think that was kind of the play. They expected Bumper to shatter early. So whenever the bump, I don't really know. I think that was just Super's individual heads up play, lacking being like, oh, I'm the only thing that can block the stun. So yeah, here's Bumper's point of view. Watch Super play aggressive. Yeah, it was predictable. Super just botted.
No.
Yeah.
So right here, instead of right, because they lost the last fight, right? So Simon Su has high charge, and Simon Su doesn't have Gravity yet, but it's close. And then as well as Twilight, they know Twilight's close to Trans, but that fight was won so quick he shouldn't have it. So in order to prevent this like shield disadvantage and like poke war coming up this way, they rotate around, and thinking maths, this distance versus this distance, it should be about the same. So if they went high ground instead, they could have a much cleaner engagement onto the Rhine. Okay, so they know they're at the disadvantage pre-fight because they like the damage. Okay, so once again, longer the fight goes on, which this is a considerable amount of time that the fight's going on, Vancouver's gaining advantage because there's already has charge. So rotating this way, and then you have this distance versus this distance. So yeah, going high ground I think would have been better. And the speed boost rotation, both bubbles come in, and then okay, so literally bomb engagement straight onto a team that just used both bubbles and speed boost. Right, so Shock, I think they're trying to get an engagement, right, and build their ults before they let Simon Su and Twilight get their ults, because you don't want to let the payload get any further back. Otherwise, it's going to possibly take more than one team fight to win this. So I think they're trying to rush an engagement, which made it a little bit sloppy. Okay, so bubble on Super, they had to beat to stabilize. And then Bumper traded for Moth. Troybin gets nothing. Okay, so you got two split. You have bubble. What? Moth's down, so you have no speed boost. So I guess using that bubble is fine to close distance and keep her charge up high, because Reinhardt's down, right? as long as Sinatra's alive, his source of damage would win the fight, but why did it take so long to go Haxel? So now it's a 5v4? Yes, it's 5v4 inside of Shock. Just go payload. Okay, they're pushing payload. Bumper came back, got 3-man shatter. Violet transfer stabilize, and Bumper pinned Violet. So yeah, so Rascal, knowing the fight was going on, just went back to payload. I believe it was him, right? Which forced Twilight to contest it, and then Twilight used trans, which brought in a 3-man shatter from Bumper. And then Bumper pinned. No? Didn't he? I don't remember. But either way, Vancouver didn't get any value out of their ultimate usage. They didn't get kills.
Yeah.
Still worth the attempt though, because it forced trans, but shatter and trans for trans, I don't know. It's hard to plan on the fly like that. That's a huge grab. So DM was used. Yep. Trans or grab was used just before DM cooldown was back up. And did the counter grab? Yeah. So good counter grab. Basically keeping Shock on point, keeping your team alive because it can't engage onto you. And that could have been a heads up play by Simon Soon, knowing that he didn't have bubbles as well, right? So your whole team gets grabbed, you don't have bubbles, counter grab if you can. As long as you know D.Va didn't use DM. Because, you know, it kept your team alive. It's a defensible at that point. But Simon Soon got picked, so now Vancouver has next to no damage. So unless they can farm a support ult right now to stabilize, and then Janu got steam-hacked. Now that like Janu's team-hacked and their team's kind of split, right? This is where I would advise Super to kind of get this angle and look for a shatter to just clean up the already disrupted team. I won't ban you for not speaking English. Yeah, okay, and he does. Yep, good job. And then they also comboed with bomb, very nice. So, what a lot of problems with SA main tanks is whenever you get your shatter, you're in a rush to use it. You like look for it at the beginning, but you see almost every shatter that's been extremely successful this entire match has been after Zarya's weakened the shield, after initial abilities and bubbles have already been used, and then whenever the team begins to split, and then you play aggressive on the split team, and that's whenever they start to panic and are forced to kind of kite back, and that's whenever you really want to look for shatters. Super can be playing more aggressive on Bumper, but he just didn't want to get shattered, I guess. So yeah. If Bumper didn't have shatter and all they had to do was hold the cart, you want to play more aggressive there. They barely even use bubble. So Super is just anchoring the position, making it really hard for Bumper to aggress on. Back at 40 seconds. Oh, good. Excuse me?
Yoga Nui.
What was that? Did they think they had like a Sombra or something? Why?
Dang, I'm getting lit.
Thank you, Glitch. Oh, yeah, hey, what's up, Glitch? I don't know why he turned around. Okay. Super. Watch how Super gets spaced up from his team. I don't know why he did that. One. But you see this gap? That's a golden opportunity to, if you're Bumper, take this space and force, like, kind of pinch Super in this position, right? So if Super is going to kite back to his team, it's going to require a bubble to get him back safely. I don't... Kind of took somewhat of an aggressive approach to it, but Super got back really quick. Beautiful play for some Super, okay? Vancouver's taking space, right? Vancouver's taking space. You have to hold this position. Vancouver has not used their allied bubble yet. And Zarya already has, like, okay, so basically Vancouver has all their abilities, and you had to kite at the beginning, I think. And either way, this is just a really good initiation technique from Super, okay? Bubble comes in, takes one swing, okay? Immediately backs out. So Bubble comes in on Bumper, and Bumper gets no value because Super's already back. Okay? So, like, Vancouver didn't get any space on their bubble. So that means they have to wait about 8 more seconds before they can, like, hard engage onto Super again. Okay? So look at this. Like, they have to just wait now. They got no value with their or bubbles. And now there's the engagement. And then defensive bubble onto Super. Super kiting because he's low damage. Just super high damage on Simon Sue. Now Shock's kind of stabilizing. Both teams are stabilizing. Sinatra just taking an angle to get a little bit of ult charge. That was a bad bubble in my opinion. You want to think before every bubble, right? Oh, Super's low health, he can die. You come out and you see Bumper get bubble, swing on Super, but then, like, he's immediately backing off. Super had full HP shield, and this is just 1 second look, right? Super has full HP shield, he has Rascal right beside of him, he can take 2 to 3 hits, and he doesn't have Discord on him, right? So Bumper comes on, swings once, don't go for late bubble, like, just because Super's being pressured. He can get healed up like in a second, and you want to use this bubble for whenever they do hard engage onto Super. So this bubble, like, help them kite back, like, you know. So they got no value at that bubble, and that's just a game losing bubble. They have Grav. Just waiting for the D.Va defense, but Chicks D.Va flew away. Okay, they were just kiting out. So really good heads up play from Sinatra. You know, they reset, they're pushing back in. Look, okay, Divas, if you're looking to eat a Grav, they're looking for Zarya to make an overly aggressive step forward. Okay, like if you're D.Va and the Zarya whose Grav you're trying to eat gets booped towards you, you'd expect them to kind of grab out of panic, thinking that'd be unexpected, which is like a natural instinct. And then that makes it easily predictable to eat. So Sinatra holds the Grav because he knows DM hasn't been used yet. And then DM does get used, right? But he doesn't grab because his team's already taken the space just off the pressure of Vancouver getting grabbed and Rascal's rally, okay? So basically, they won the fight with just like rally and Vancouver worrying that they were going to get grabbed. And so now they continue the pressure of having Grav into the next engagement. Shield's down, like, you know, you don't need to use your ult, you already win the fight. Now is when the Grav comes in. Super! Holy crap! Did you guys see that? He tried. He tried to save Violet, and he did, ultimately, but look at him. Dude, but Violet got bubbled. Oh no. Oh no, both players were being the heroes. But, you know, either way, they got the trans, they got the rally. Don't think it's going to be enough, though, because Bumper already has another shatter. Actually, they boot Bumper enough. He should be killable. They kill Bumper. Rascal's contesting. Yeah, it just numbers. It was a good try, though. Sinatra, keep her charge, keep her charge. Oh no. Okay. So you're coming, like, just because they hadn't gotten out of their choke, there's no value of holding up here, because even if you hold at the choke where you're supposed to, you're going to be forced to kite because the payload's only going to be, like, right here. So they come back to get on payload. And you might see him push up to the hallway choke after they push the payload some, so they can get the long range poke damage, because they did win the fight, right? No, okay, so they missed. That's a missed opportunity from Vancouver. Shock's engaging from here. You want to be getting that early shield damage, and you can do that while still having 3 on cart, right? Huge grav. They use trans and defensive bomb. So good boot by, I think, Rascal. I think he was able to get a flail on Super right then. Should have a lot of time on the team. Wait. Oh, what's up, Marquise? That's a huge beat, and that's it's kind of a late trans. I would say that fight was already lost. Okay, they take all this space, right? Look, Rascal's split, and Super's already dead. You're nowhere close to any offensive ults. I'd say that's a like quick wipe, and then you might be able to still contest it again. It forced Scrav, but you're going to be so split now, because Super's already alive coming back. You know, you give up your only chance of being able to contest this one more time. So now Shock's coming back with the potential grav bomb, and Vancouver only has like rally to engage. So Vancouver most likely is going to look to rally, play super aggressive on Super. You're not at the choke yet, so there's no use. So taking space after ally bubble is used, right? They saw ally on Super, they turned the corner, they played super aggressive, took all the space. Wait, when did rally come in? Because that was the point I was going to make. Okay, so it came in here. I would have said Haxwell should have waited. Okay, because without heals, you have bubble, you have shield, you have speed boost going forward, right? And they probably wouldn't have kited this much if Vancouver wasn't rallying, but you want to rally like a second before the engagement actually starts, so that you push the advantage throughout the fight. You don't want to rally just like close distance, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's better mid fight. So yeah, like they got no value out of rally except they got to this choke. They didn't win a fight. They didn't really get any significant ult charge. So basically, they rallied here. Shock was here, and then they literally just moved Shock back one. So rally came in early, and speed boost came in early. You want to almost like use it the second Shock commits to like a position, and then you want to be like really explosive, like speed boost rally. Go quick on Ryan, and that forces them to kind of panic and back out, which is going to give you more value. So you used it too early. 6 months scrimming, what should do about the same time? You haven't done it. Okay, you guys are just talking about to each other being idiots. So now Titans have trans for grav, but they should be able to grab bomb combo. Shock should. And they should definitely try. Look for the bubbles coming out from Titans. Because the second bubbles come out, there's ally, right? Now's a really good time for Snatcher to look for grab, because they cannot... What just happened? Where did Simon Sue's grab go? It's like below the ground. Do you guys see this?
No.
Simon Sue's grab. Watch. It's over here.
Oh, the grab comes in though. Where did that one end up? That was interesting.
What?
Do you see that? The caster said, like, where'd that go? That was interesting. So that was a big bug. The grab went below the ground. Holy crap. The grab...
Really getting anything done for the Titans.
It said Soyman's grab, not really getting anything done for the Titans. What? Sorry, I'll clip that.
It's for
Yeah, it actually might have been playing.
The entire Vancouver Titans are just Monka? Monka? What the heck? they're all confused. Both teams are just confused. The grab was literally underground right here. Okay. That's a ton of ults coming out really explosively. Blizzard polish, yeah. Blizzard throwing owl finals. Holy crap.
Grab comes in for shock now. It's going to be the Transcendence from Twilight.
Yeah, sorry, please tell me you clip that.
For use now. Titans roll in.
Oh my gosh. Okay, look. Right. Sure, Shock used a ton of ults, right? And Force, like, I think they used Grav offensively. They just use Shatter. And then they use Trans for Shatter. But now, look. You're coming off of a Trance, so your team's full HP. Okay? Shock immediately kites back. And then Slime beats. When Bumper's charging back with Bumper's nobody, so Bumper's far away from the team, cannot push with beat. Your team was full health in the first place. And Shock was already playing defensive. So you're getting no value with this beat.
yeah.
Look, the beat. Got him nothing. Nothing. Scuffed.
Taking defensive positions here, but they've still got all 6 members.
Good, that was a really good bubble on Bumper. Pushing Rascal and Super, and then Janu dropped down to pinch. Okay.
With the sound barrier.
Janu's playing this high ground. Looking for boops, right? Bumper comes in,
Yeah.
and Janu comes straight down to pinch.
Nearly popped out of his team.
I would have actually flown out, bump Bumper, and then gone up. Or bump Super. So, he went straight up. Haskell got Violet. Bumper again swinging with Bubble.
They are rocking this fight right now, and I think they are going to
So yeah, ideally, like in perfect scenario, right? You can't play off of like the other team's decisions, right? What they're gonna do and stuff. But ideally, you want to be using Bubble to swing on cooldown. To just basically keep your ability advantage up, and then you keep deciding the engagements, and you're constantly like using your bubbles and stuff high value, right? You don't have these situations where like Simon Sue bubble Bumper first fight and they got nowhere done. They had to wait for 8 seconds, you know. So that's why you always want to be the engaging Reinhardt, and that's why it's also important to just like be confident in yourself and your team to like push on targets. You especially, Robtoxx, don't push. Gui3, you used to push way too much, and now you don't look for opportunities enough. Okay?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh crap! Holy, I had no idea. I'm actually bodying out so hard. I completely forgot this was an overtime. I thought it was halftime. So, where'd they start? Okay. I completely forgot. I thought it was like replay. Why'd you bubble Bumper? They bubbled Bumper around the corner, not even seeing anything.
Shook it.
0% charge. Okay. I think they're expecting like early spam, and they're gonna play slower, use 2 bubbles on the engage to get Simon to a higher charge earlier. But just go in front of Bumper, use your own bubble. It's like quicker cooldown. You know, like, and that way you actually get to see what the charge is. So now he has to use his charge, and look, oh my gosh. Did Bumper get booped right here? And if so, by who? Looks like he did, but I don't know by who. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was Moth high ground? Question mark? He might have been. But either way, because they used bubble early that fight, Bumper's getting destroyed, and Sinatra has like double the charge. And that's like small, right? but Simon Sue could be getting a lot of charge off of this bumper boop if he didn't use his bubble first fight. So just small things like that. Goats is so micro. Like one early bubble that puts him 2 seconds off cooldown is basically throwing the game for him right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so small, but look how... And another bubble. Just to get charge. Because he never got value off the first bubble. You have to reset and take this next fight as if it's your first. Okay? They're not going to have ult charge yet. You had one tiny engagement. You can't be using your bubbles again as if you were like building charge mid-fight. Because it's not mid-fight. You're cutting back to your choke. Hard resetting at this point. And so now both bubble cooldowns are extremely bad. Sorry, this is supposed to be focused on Ryan, but he's destroying Bumper's ability to play how he wants to because of his bubble usage. Bumper has to play defensive, right? That was the first good bubble. And really good split on Rascal. I think Brig got a flail, which put Rascal from this line of his team to out here. So. That's Rascal's one of Rascal's biggest problems. Rascal's a Grillo. He just like over aggresses a lot. Grillo is getting better though. Let's analyze the shatters as always. Shatters are exciting. Bumper literally just got played. I mean, Super is probably looking for the fire strike as well. Okay, so one thing is Ryan's hammer always goes down to the ground and swings up in an arc if he's fire striking. So if you know Reinhardt has fire strike, look for his hammer to drop. And the second he drops, if you have good reaction time, especially on land, you can always land the shatter. Okay, so watch. Second bumper starts his fire strike, Super begins his shatter.
Yeah.
See, hammer drops, right? And Super's already begun his shatter. See that? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then boom, big shatter. So that's Bumper just making a mistake. And Super just playing good as well. Who am I? Like, if you're trying to talk to me, like, you know I can't read that. I'm English. I'm bot. So yeah, literally just Bumper with that one fire strike lost in a fight. But yeah, that Reinhardt trick is extremely big brain, and as long as your ping isn't too high, I highly suggest you guys go for it. Because whenever I played, this is something I did all the time. I tracked Reinhardt's fire strike cooldown, and I got good at it so I could do it subconsciously, right? If Ryan used fire strike and I had shatter, I would look for him to fire strike again if I knew their ally bubble was down, and then I would just predict the shatter. And for those of you who follow me on Twitter and like saw whenever I was asking about the educational video I should do, that was like one of the biggest things I wanted to do for Ryan 1v1s with shatter. How to like land shatters and outplay. Yeah. Where did Super go? Because he's... What are you doing, dude? Wait, how did he get this split to start with? Did he go behind? I want to say he started behind them. No, he was in grab and Slime. Slime got boop. Okay. So that's good positioning from Slime, going between the team, looking to disrupt. Or separate even further. You need to learn Spanish with me now. Listen, I have people telling me to learn Spanish and Portuguese. It's not happening. I'm learning both, little by little, right? I already knew some Spanish. I took 2 courses of it. And then Portuguese, I'm like slowly learning. But the hardest thing is they use the same characters and they look a lot alike. So I can't tell whenever people are speaking in Spanish or Portuguese. Hey, Tygo? Tygo? Thank you for following.
Tiago.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall just the initial grab engage gave them advantage. But once again, you have to commit to every fight because you don't know how quickly it can turn in goats. So Sinatra did get out alive, yeah. So okay, so we saw Super before, and Super played safe, right? Wanting to have a safe like engagement. My prediction is that Bumper will speed and play more aggressive to take this space to allow Cart to push up to here, versus Super letting Cart push to here, then having an equal fight. Okay. So just Vancouver's play style. No, they're not. So they played safe too. They're playing even safer than Super did. Okay, because they're engaging with Bomb. Block the Shatter. Good discipline from Bumper. Grav comes in. Bumper didn't shield. Okay. Good beat. Now they yeah. Okay. So Vancouver just had more ults to counter ult with. They engage with Bomb and then stabilize Trans with for the Grav, and then block the Shatter, which Super has another. So that was like an ultimate advantage. And then they used Beat and the Grav, which gave them the health advantage to win the fight. Who are they missing? They're missing Slime, right? Okay. So I'm assuming Slime died because I don't see him anywhere. So as long as Slime was alive, Bumper should be up here with his Zarya holding this choke with Zen on cart. And then you have, actually no, Zen would be up as well, and most likely Haxel would be up as well. So you have just like 2 on cart, and then you have just Janu on cart, and then you have the rest of the team holding up, letting Janu push, right? But because they don't have the speed boost to kite, I think they're playing safer on cart. Marine Spanish as well, I think it's easier because they speak Portuguese. That's the opposite of what everybody's told me. Everybody has always told me that Portuguese is harder to learn whenever you speak Spanish, and Spanish is harder to learn when you speak Portuguese, because they're so similar, but they're very different. They're very similar by like looks and word usage, but the context is very different. So I've always been told that English is easier to learn for them, either language. Super. Minimizing shield usage, right? Like first thing, okay? Unless you're playing a very specific corner where you don't want your entire shield to be used. But whenever you have a wide choke like this, okay? You have these 2 walls. You can shield the majority of this and eat most of the damage. Instead, you're allowing Twilight to first get poked this way onto your backline, and then also Bumper lands to Shatter through this gap. So it's not going to minimize your shield damage because you're going to get focused down regardless. So you're just stagnant. I don't know what Super's doing, dude. I'm not even going to analyze it anymore. It's just hurting. He just stood here. Like, he literally just pulled this position. Look, from an overview, if your Reinhardt is here shooting this, and you're attacking, and the rest of the team is holding here, it's like pretty straightforward how to approach the situation. If Super pushed in and allowed them to like rotate and pocket Super with Bubble, it would have been fine. And they both had Shatter, and that would then be Super, who, in my opinion, is the superior Reinhardt player mentally and like mechanically. And if he would just push in, aggress on Bumper, he would likely be able to block the Shatter. Yeah, English is easier to learn if it isn't your native language, I think, is what you're saying. In all of school, they've always told me that English is one of the hardest languages to learn because of like the conjunctions and slang. Nobody uses like proper English. Okay, so aggressive bomb, or wait, aggressive Grav came in, which I believe just hit Super. So they're looking to single out Super, which will force Trans, and then if they can coordinate a grab bomb this fight, that should be their win condition because Vancouver doesn't have beat, right? But they might bomb aggressively in this. No, they didn't.
Nope, nope.
Question mark.
What?
Yeah.
What? He was full HP. Look at him. Watch Janu.
I don't know. It's weird.
Dang, I'm getting lit.
Hey, Trix, thanks for following and welcome. And, hey, look at that. A good aggressive bomb, offensive bomb. And then beat just to stabilize on point. So yeah, dude, Vancouver does some weird stuff with their ultimates. They literally throw half of them away like we don't need them. See, look, saving bubbles. Oh my goodness. They're probably going to do what they did last time because Snatcher didn't bubble himself either. So they're just going to throw bodies on Bumper, I guess. With double bubble. Ready? There's the both bubbles. So he did. Bumper learned his lesson from last time. He cut it a little bit sooner and didn't take the early fight, knowing Sinatra hadn't used either bubble. Okay, once again, like, Super's getting aggress. It's not your hard bubble. It's good from him. And now use the bubble to aggress and take space. So now that Zarya has full charge, Sinatra. San Francisco Shock relies on Sinatra for the majority of their playstyle. Their playstyle is literally kind of play aggressive, back out, and then let Sinatra carry us with high charge. In this matchup, the majority of it is based on Sinatra being able to build his grabs faster than Simon Sue. And Sinatra put himself in the death hole, got saved by Violet's trans, very nice. With trans super, okay, look, Reinhardt's everywhere. Even Owl Reinhardt. Whenever you're Zen uses trans. Wait, hold up. Double check one thing. Yes. First fight, Zen, use your trans as soon as you get it, because most likely their Zen or their team won't have the ults to stabilize. So Zen is normally one of the first people in codes to get ult. So if you get your ult like 10 seconds before, or 10% before the other Zen does, or the other team gets rally or anything to stabilize, right? That's like 10% that you have a huge advantage in the team fight. And you can get a lot of value with that. So the second Violet right here gets trans, he pops it. And then immediately, Super plays extremely aggressive on Bumper, and then the grab comes in to stabilize, right? So, and that's where, look at ult usage, ults, and that's just where overall individual mechanics and team play and ability usage comes into like first fight goats. They have 3 ults before Shock has like their second. So now Shock's at a huge disadvantage because they have absolutely no ults. So, sorry, I was thinking back to the last fight. The majority of the reason why Shock lost is because Vancouver played very safe, anchored right here, okay? And then Shock took the point and then played very split up, right? They were all like this, which allowed Simon Sue specifically to get a lot of range damage onto their team. And San Francisco Shock was all focused on Slime, who's Lucio literally just wall riding right here. And they never could kill him either. So that's the main reason why Vancouver was able to get like Simon Sue's grabs so early. And then, of course, because they are more grouped up, Haxel is also building his rally faster. So they had those two ults to engage after San Francisco Shock used their trans. Sorry. So basically what Shock, I keep going back, but what Shock should have done is instead of focus the Lucio right here, they should have just like let Brig contest Lucio and everybody else push hard into their team and get value that way. You have to look at it like if their Lucio isn't there to kite their team. So if you all like focus or the 5, it's a 5v6 with like one Lucio over here. So you have like a second or two where you can get really good value in the 5v6 fight. And of course the Lucio is in a position where he can boop your team. And that's why if you're main tank, right, and you see this, you're here, their team's here, and you have a Lucio here. You call the engagement here, right? You say like, we're gonna push Ryan 3, 2, 1. You engage onto Reinhardt. And that would also have a bubble. And then it should be your Briggs, just natural game sense and understanding of the Briggs role in GOATs to watch the Lucio and Diva as well to contest the Lucio. So that would have been the right play from Shock, but Shock and Vancouver both, mostly Shock though. Shock this entire matchup have been like very indecisive, and that's where they lose most of their fights, not being able to make a decision and push on it as a team. So right here the call is push bumper, push bumper, push bumper. Alright, hold point. Oh! And now, you know, you already did your job as Reinhardt. Let your team clean up. Came in with Rally, Krav, Beat versus Bomb, Trans. Okay. So Shock can 100% afford to lose this fight. Using Bomb to zone, maybe get some value. They use Beat to stabilize. Now is Shock will can further invest into this, most likely because Sinestro probably said he had Grav. And so Trans comes in, allowing the team to stabilize. So not try to get and use Grav. But in a normal situation, if Vancouver came in, immediately got value, it'll take you about 20 seconds off the clock, which is just their second fight anyways, to reset and then come back on the point. And yes, I am considering Vancouver pushing up and holding an additional choke, but it should still be worth the value because then you'd have your Trans to engage back onto them with Bomb as well. So it would be 100% worth the sales. They're not doing anything sneaky, I don't think. I want to say I saw this, and that Rascal got a shield bash, but I don't remember. No, good shatter on the Diva. Ally Bubble came in. Diva shattered, Ally Bubble went out. You have full reign to play aggressive, with the exception of shatter, right? So as long as you're thinking about shatter with every swing you take, and making sure you're not over-committing to, like, pushing on bumper, then you can get yourself get your team in a position where they can play aggressive. Okay. So you don't necessarily, you want to be like in Reinhardt's face right here, holding him in this position, making sure he can't like shatter your team. You know, and you don't want him to like push you back. So you still want to swing and try to keep an engagement. But the biggest thing is like don't get shattered, lol. And then look, Super once again playing sides and not anchoring like position in front of his team. So Bumper, seeing this, just comes a shatter like this. I believe it should get Moth. No. Shatter travel time. Bumper. Dude, Bumper signature move. The I didn't do anything good, so I'm just gonna panic and pin, right? Trans has already been on for a while. Twilight's backing up so that he's in position for his Trans, right? And Bumper just goes full aggressive. I'm just going to pin and hope for value. They kept Bumper up because he got bubbled, and then trans to hold him back. So it's possible that someone who might have said like, oh, goes to trans. And in that instance, with Vancouver's playstyle, it is okay for Bumper to pin. For you guys though, don't do that, because your team's not going to be able to follow up and be that like coordinated with you pinning that aggressively. Remember, they have a year and a half developing this synergy. So if you guys pinned, you got counterpinned, you're over here, your team would be like, oh no, he's counterpinned, let's like peel for him, and your Zarya might grab, and then there'd be like no DPS follow up in the grab, anything. So if like you're in that situation and your Zarya calls grab, what you want to do is like jump, and like shield here, forcing like Shock to kind of kite around this corner, which sets him up for another grab. Okay, so you don't necessarily have to do a pin, but you still want to take space to set it for the grab, because anytime you take space, it forces them to tighten up and to like kite a little bit.
Can they possibly get kills? They can, and it looks like the Titans are going to tie up this series.
So basically, that's what Bumper did, but to the extreme with that pin. It all forced them to group on Super to keep him Super alive, and then the grab came in. Back a little bit. Oh, this is the Mother's Day thing. I didn't get to see this actually. I want to see this real quick.
Aww.
Oh, that's Hydration's mom. Okay, so I need you to rotate around the backside, right? Set up a flank and pinch this lady right here. Dude, Corey's adorable. I love Corey. I love Zachary. Wait, I want to see Notes' mom. That's Notes' mom?
I don't know.
Okay, they're getting happy. Oh. He did the diva. Oh my gosh. He did the diva heart to his mom. Oh no. Okay.
Diva online.
Look at him.
Wrong.
Scuffed players, all of them. Yeah, they're just not playing. I think that'd be really fun though, to like get to watch the match with your mom on Mother's Day, right? Like that'd be really cool. Oh my gosh, we weren't this far behind. Monty is a scuffed analyst. Okay, Q. Just continue to skip. Okay, so Titan's just running Dotes. This is where it'll get a little bit more interesting. Okay. Analytical. So just like Reinhardt, right? Bubble goes on Monkey the second they exit choke, and Monkey is trying his best to like basically hold super in this position. As much as you can body block and hold the Reinhardt there, that's the more cleave and ultimate like charge you're getting as Monkey. And you like have your bubble and stuff, and you can jump out whenever, right? So smart from Shock. Just like, I assume you guys play Monkey. Their Monkey jumps up there, you know he won't have to leap or jump for a while, right? So you just like speed boost up there, forcing them to reposition. Because if you go point right here, that's allowing them to engage onto you. So they use their abilities defensively. That's whenever you want to use your abilities offensively. If they have to use defensive abilities early, I mean. So now Bumper is able to do a soft dive engage, which gave him more ult charge. And now, like, okay, so the jump came in with the bubble. And Shock, like, is fine for the most part, right after the jump comes in. Okay? Right here it comes in. Okay? So, I think the should bash. Bumper jumped in with bubble and used his jump. Basically, did like a 3-2-1 engagement, and they used their resources. And because Reinhardt is better, like, brawling, now is whenever you want to speed boost and engage straight onto their team, with most likely a bubble. But I think they used bubble whenever Winston jumped to stop Winston's charge, which is just choosing to play defensively over offensively. So it works either way. You're preventing Winston's ult charge one way or another. But if you're not engaged, I mean, you know, you're literally just sitting here waiting. Yep, and then. So I think the defensive use of bubble was almost a disadvantage because Bumper's dive is not going to kill you, right? Shock did get a lot of ult charge percentages, so they are stabilizing. Now Super has Shatter, Choibin's close to Bomb. If you're ever playing Winston, this is what you always want to look to do in Dotes, okay? Anytime there's this distance, like in anything, and this is where Reinhardt and Winston over like a I think people sub Diva for it, and you run the double maintain comp. This is where the double maintain comp is like. This is what the double maintain comp is supposed to do. Okay, you have a Winston jump in between, which like the impact damage of Winston boops Ryan forward, boops the rest of the team back. Okay, and especially since boops have been buffed, this is really strong. So Bumper jumps in between, which you know helps split, but Vancouver's kind of split and kind of scuffed because if Brig was here up with Zarya and they could stun and probably even boot Super, but either way they should be focusing Super down right now. Super. He went for the prediction shatter, dude. Super, dude. Oh my gosh. That's where playing comp like really gets you down, because you can pull off these prediction plays a little bit more often because teams aren't coordinated with their engagements, right? So people will peek corners and like poke damage and do stuff on their own, and that's predictable, right? But whenever a team is organizing engagements and plays, that's a little bit less predictable. And so that for that reason in OWL, you really have to be a lot more reserved with your decision making. So especially you, Gui3, right? Anytime you want to pin, no, right? Like that's the reason. And especially like with the Zarya bubbles and how quickly like one wrong Zarya bubble loses you the fight. If you're pinning that constantly, that forces your Zarya to use your bubbles defensively whenever you want to use it to engage. Okay? So yeah, that's why you don't pin. That's why pinning's really bad. And that's in addition to splitting yourself from your team.
Sort of just throw in this self-destruct and get the time they need on the point. So we'll keep an eye on how Choi Siobhan uses Sinatra being chunked out.
So Bumper switched to Ryan after dying, mostly because, like, you know, Dotes to Goats is like one main tank switch, and then he did use Primal, but also he knows that they're gonna have, it's not first fight, you're not gonna have the ultimate advantage with your Primal, which is the whole point of running Dotes over Goats, is that you bullet ult a little bit faster, but then you have a lot more defense against ultimates if you're on Ryan over Winston. So now Super doesn't get the shatter as freely, even though they already used it. You can block damage from Grav, and you can help hold position against Rally, right? So after first fight, unless your team has ultimate advantage and is winning, and you need to contest high ground, that's the biggest thing with Dotes, is you need to be able to contest high ground, play Dotes. But in this situation, 100% go Goats. You just want Winston to be able to contest that first choke, because it is such a strong choke. He didn't even get booped, did he? Watch Bumper. Oh, he did. Choi Bin. Wow. Nice. It wasn't even a prediction play to block the shatter. It was a lot more of I can boop him off the map here.
Yeah, they're going to have one good attack left, and they have to play into the sound barrier. That self-destruct might have gotten moved. It might have gotten moved backwards there from Choi Siobhan. I'm surprised he didn't save it just a little bit longer.
So now Titans have both, or sorry, not both defensive ults. They have Beat and they have Bomb. They're close to Grav. Shock's gonna have 4. These last 4. Looking to engage with Bubble. Super should go for Shatter. Yeah, I was about to say. Rewinding this. Okay. Super knows Bumper has Shatter, so he's just showing you his team, but they are grabbed. This isn't last fight. They have one more if they want. But Super's low enough HP that, like, you have to just use your barrier. Anyways, this bomb is the problem. I don't know if Rascal can do anything, but you can shield bash the bomb and stop its movement, which you want to try to. Oh no, sorry, I thought that was moving on the ground right here. That was actually in the air. So yeah, 2 supports down. Shock needs to reset, and I think that's what they're trying to do. Okay. So supports and everything watching, you know, if you were Rascal or Moth there, one of the first to die, you're immediately looking at the kill feed saying, okay, like, it's a lost fight, we need to reset, we have like maybe one more fight. Rascal's waiting. Moth's gonna have to go try to touch. Super's pinning the point. Oh, Moth got it. Missed the shatter. Grab bomb is like only chance. They have to get a grab bomb off. I didn't get the matches. Oh my gosh, Rascal is so close. Yeah, that was a good try from Shock, but I think the fight before, because of their ultimates and they were close to having their ultimate advantage, if they would have played slower and not engage onto them high ground and instead like rotated and forced point, and then tried to engage while Vancouver is rotating, that would have been the better play. She doesn't get it, but she likes watching it. Bro, I wish my mom would watch Overwatch League. My mom would say it hurts her eyes. Okay, so Titans going with EMP Barrage combo because they know Shock's going to be on Goats, which is what Shock always runs here. Shock's Goats on first point Paris is really strong. This is one of Shock's best maps, but I think Vancouver just having the high ground here, holding this high ground, and then having the freedom to engage and play aggressive on Shock is what won the last map, or last round. Shock, once again, like, is better at the baity, the more defensive playstyle, enabling Sinatra, but whenever you don't have any high ground to kind of like, or you don't have any space to kite, right? You have this little lane. They choose to go up, which is probably their best bet, right? And that allows for a little bit of disengage, but Shock really doesn't get to play the playstyle they've been wanting to play against Vancouver Titans on first point. So Shock hasn't practiced any DPS comps to my knowledge. Maybe they have some in scrims, but for the most part, it's been mostly Goats. But if they did have any flexibility, they would want to be switching it up a little bit, running 3 DPS maybe even. But against Vancouver's Goats, they're kind of in a sticky situation. I think the biggest issue they had was ultimate usage.
Didn't drop a map until the playoffs. You know, they did so well the last year's playoffs. People actually are.
Bumper Hanzo.
I think that is.
Lul.
We'll see what they can do.
That's not a lul. So, quad DPS against Goats, right?
Yeah.
They immediately see it. They're all like backing up, right? What they have to do on Goats is anchor in here, and then most likely Bumper will take this spot right here, firing hot arrows in there. Simon Sue will rotate around this backside, a Sombra, and then focus poke there. And then we'll have Pharmacy taking above point. Whoops. We'll have like Pharmacy taking above point here, pressuring this. And then most likely Twilight on Soldier will take here, here, or up here with Hanzo. And so what this ultimately does is forces Goats into here, and then you have all of this space where you're positioned. And then you have Hammond on point with Pharmacy above. And if they want to engage, or they can't engage is the thing. There's too much mobility. But what they're wanting to do on Goats is reinforce the Rhine from in here so that Rhine can contest cart, or not cart, but point. And then minimize the ult gain from Vancouver Titans. But the thing about first point, right? Vancouver knows they only have to cap first point. Vancouver can play as slow as they want, and they will get their ults faster than Shock will because they're on quad DPS. And this is a comp I believe we've seen Vancouver run before. And basically, you just get your ults faster. You EMP Barrage, and you press your point. So it forces Shock's resources onto the Rhine to hold point, and the only person who has a chance to build ult is Violet. So unless Violet does something nutty and builds strands before EMP Barrage comes in and then gets the EMP off, this is Vancouver's, oh, we don't need to cap first point. This is a guaranteed cap if we use our ults right. And that's GG.
GG.
I think Choibin was trying to set up here so that he could have some form of contest on the Pharmacy, but either way, just go with your team so you can eat the damage and minimize the ult charge. You know, that's all you're running to do. Minimize Vancouver's ult charge, eat the arrows, eat the spam. You know, but why was he so happy? He's so happy, dude.
What a Hanzo.
Huh?
What a Hanzo.
Yeah. Bumper Hanzo carried. It's not letting me skip ahead, is it? Oh, it actually did. Alright, double Goats. So the meta in like lower elos, like you see some contenders, mostly T3 and stuff. Maybe like NA trials they will run Goats here, but for the most part, Goats is used because teams' ability usage isn't so well established on goats that they can afford to lose blue box to Dotes, right? If Dotes gets up here and they have Zen and Lucio and they can engage whenever they want on Dotes with high ground onto goats teams that have a almost perfected goats composition will be able to defend against that consistently and still win the payload fight. Whenever the payload gets here, they'll be able to contest it and win it against Dotes. But in lower elos, whenever Goat's abilities usage isn't so good, Dotes is stronger because you can hold blue box and take advantage of like a Zen out of position or split the Rhine and focus the Rhine, etc. So I think Shock just had a really good defensive positioning and like coordination whenever Titans did push them low ground, and then that allowed them to still push back out with an ability advantage. And that's what Shock is especially best at, is whenever Vancouver pushes up to pressure, they're looking to force it attacking, or I mean, Shock was attacking, but in that specific first team fight, they were defending. So Vancouver pushes in whenever Shock was on low ground, and they're wanting Shock to kind of cause overuse abilities. So, for example, like Armor Packet or Speed Boost would be used, and both bubbles were used. Maybe an Armor Packet was used, and then Defense Matrix might have come in, but either way, they saved Speed Boost, which allowed Shock, after they stabilized this fight, and Vancouver backed out, that Shock could then push up and then take the space, which just they played cart, got the healing from cart, and pushed their advantage. And then whenever Vancouver was forced to fight, they were out of position, they had low resources, and then Shock was just able to like have higher pressure and DPS on focus targets. And that's just 100% playstyle preference. Every other Owl team would have panicked and overused abilities, and then Vancouver would have re-engaged quicker and won the fight. Good boop. Titans needs rally now. They did use it. Slime died. They traded Moth though. They got Rascal. So unless like 2 kills come out right here, they got Hack Skull and Huge Shatter Bumpers 1. Super might actually be able to carry this.
Oof.
Wow, Super putting Shock on his back right there. They were down all except for Violet, and he was able to pick one, get the 2-man shatter. So that was just beautiful on his part. Huh? Yeah. Okay, so this is one of those corners where I was saying the Super has the advantage because his swing will swing like this, which will knock Bumper back. And then also if Bumper's here, his hammer will not reach around this corner, while Super's will fully reach around the corner. So we should see him take a swing or two with using that advantage. Right there, right? Bubble, and then those 2 swings. once again, like first swing right around that corner. Every time Super approaches the corner, he uses that first swing to get that advantage. If anybody is holding this position, it will knock them back, and there's no avoiding it. Right? It's a free swing every time. Right there. See? So anytime there's a left corner, get a free swing off. So Super did get booped around, but initially, right, Vancouver gave space. But notice the brig stayed up. And that's all that needs to happen. So if Super even pushes up to even level with the brig can most likely stun him, and then it is 2 seconds. Slime's already ready to speed boost his team in, and Sinatra's up, but he has personal. Sinatra's personal, right? But the bomb comes in, they kite back, and that's where Super didn't kite with his team, because I think Haxel came in and booped Super into the team. Yep, Haxel's already up. Super seeing Haxel come up. If a brig is over aggressing onto you, that's when you kite, and then you allow your Zarya or your Zen to call the target, and then you engage. And you can even call it and wait for your team to echo just to confirm, right? Because Super's holding this line and Haxel pushes straight into him, right? But Super doesn't move. And then the rest of his team kites because the bomb comes in, and that allows Super to have 1 second of questioning what he should do, which allows Haxel to boop him into the team, which ultimately is to shock the team fight. But dead, right? So 1 second of hesitation on the kite, lost shock the team fight. So the main thing to look for is if a brig goes extremely aggressive on you for seemingly no reason, there's something happening on their side of comms where they're coordinating an engagement, right? So anytime that's happening, anytime they're engaging, it's always best to kite. So anytime a brig goes super aggressive for no reason, get the heck out. What was the trans? I wouldn't have trans that. You already had Super down. There was no reason to block damage. You had somebody else down, I believe, as well. And then Invest Grab after the fight was already won. I would have just saved trans, so that was misplay by Violet. It was already lost. Vancouver over-ulted. They're just lucky Violet got a trans out. Bumper looking to shatter. So that was a really good example of Super. Okay, the King's Row example where I said if the enemy run has shatter and all you have to do is block it, you don't want to give him any space and you don't want to overextend. You just want to play into him, right? So Super knows Bumper has shatter, and it's a little bit different because Super has to take this space. Okay, so watch every swing that goes on right here. Can I not? Hello?
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, playback.
Hello?
It won't let me click.
What?
I can't click playback speed. Oh well. Okay, we'll just play it at full speed then. So bubble comes in for Super as well. And then the second bubbles break, Super, I believe, jumps back. I'm not entirely sure. And then it gets spooked forward, but luckily Bumper backed up as well, right? So if you're a Reinhardt with Shatter, you always want to give space, which encourages the other Rein to drop his shield to move forward to take that space, and that's whenever you want to look to Shatter. Okay? So even though Bumper had the advantage and Super had to back up so that Bumper didn't overextend, Bumper backed up to bait Super in. And so both Reins backed up, which was good on both of their parts. But Super has to take the space still, okay?
Okay.
And Bubbles come in again. Both teams back up. Super gets booped forward by Slime, okay? And this is where Bumper can play super aggressive on Super, because he has Shatter. Every time Super swung, it's been into Bumper's while Bumper is bubbled. So Bumper knows Super hasn't been getting any ult charge. and then he got booped, and Sinatra already used Ally Bubble for the previous exchange of swings. Hexel's on Choyobin, so if Bumper is smart, right? Discord's not on Super for one, because every time Super swings, he has Bubble. It's another really good reason to have Bubble on anytime you swing. You don't get discorded. So if Vancouver's like should get a lot of value and slow San Francisco Shock, because they can get a lot of hammer swings and damage onto Super right here. And so of course they play super aggressive on the Super, and now they're forced to back up. And this, once again, like backing up, they use strength to stabilize, but that would be a perfect time to shatter. Shock just got the advantage in the fight, and if you're the Rhine and you're losing the fight and you have to back up, the second you get full health and have the ability to commit to shatter, that's when it's strongest, because they're running to push their advantage. It's all about baiting space. That was a really good grab from Sinatra. He got him right here in this corner.
They got aggressive because they thought the T-Mech was coming through. But the problem is that the self
Shock pushing up to hold doors. Smart. I would almost even put Super right here and let Super charge with a bubble.
everybody when the grab was dropped.
Super?
Struck was used by Choi Jung in the replay.
Look at this fire strike.
Down everybody when the grab was dropped.
What?
He jumped to the left and flicked to the left, and then shattered whenever they were coming out. Dude, you cannot do that, man. That's where you want to pin with bubble, knock them all back into their spawn. That's always the first move you should do if you're holding doors. Pin with bubble, because it boops everybody back.
This could be dominating from the Shock.
Good block. That was a really good block from Super. And now play aggressive on Bumper. You have Shatter second. Bumper dies. Now he can get Shatter on all three of these for free, which he should do. He doesn't see him. He's looking for it. He needs to Shatter soon before Bumper comes back. He still has it. Oh, wait. No, he doesn't. Did he get stunned out of it? Yeah, he did. He got stunned out of it right there. That's unlucky. Okay, I didn't see that. So now he has another, or he gets close to another Shatter here in a second. Sinatra died, one off grab. Now's whenever Super's about to have grab. Good boop. So the stun already came in. Ally Bubble comes in, right? Super sees both of those, and he's one away from Shatter. So if he can stay alive for 1 second, right? And then land a Shatter, this fight is winnable. He's too weak. Now he can Shatter. Yep. So really well done. That's gonna catch Haxel and Simon Sue. So I guess push on. Oh wow! Oh holy crap! They blocked both of it. Wow, huge hold from Titans. That Shatter not hitting anybody was huge from Simon Sue and Haxel. We'll be done after this map, and then we will do like another 3 later. Okay, sound good?
Oh.
Yeah? Gui3?
Yeah.
Rob? Yeah?
Yeah?
Okay. I missed all of that. So back-to-back grabs. And then trans. So if the enemy team has trans, you want to Shatter as the trans is ending. You won't catch Zen, but it's just a second before. Super kind of has the idea that I need to play defensive again. We don't have trans anymore, okay? So even if you don't, well, that boop was unfortunate. Violet still has trans. It's ending now. So he had good timing for the Shatter. Right here. that would have been a huge shatter at that second, and you can see he already is using it, right? Has his shatter queued. This is what he sees. So, frame by frame for a second. If it'll, okay, it's not gonna work. Gets booped back. Oh, he hadn't used his shatter yet. He just got it. That's my bad. So that first time would have been a good one, and he would have been able to shatter it then. He would have this shatter if he had it a second earlier. Instead, he goes for this shatter whenever Briggs stuns him, and he has to use his Zarya bubble. So he has to like turn to not shatter Zarya and barely gets Choyobin. So he did his best, but Shock's just ability to push on him with the trance. They use the entire trance to continuously push back Bumper. They had trans, and the entire trans, they just push Bumper, push Bumper, push Bumper, push Bumper, until Bumper was here, and then they finally killed him, right? And the second Bumper is dead, that's whenever you can play super aggressive with Sinatra, okay? Bumper is Vancouver's carry, so Shock focuses Bumper, kills Bumper, and since Sinatra is like Shock's win condition, they don't have Bumper, Sinatra's free to go do as much damage as he can possibly imagine. Super looks dead, dude. He's dead. That's literally what the average Reinhardt player looks like. Holy crap. What time is it? Midnight. 1 for you guys. Bumper didn't go high ground with his team to drop just so he could get like a second earlier on payload. Out of spawn door, Bumper went out bottom door and went straight to payload. So they get like a second or two earlier on payload.
Okay.
Just side note. If meta were to change at all, you'd still want to go high ground. But just because it's rare that there's any range damage in like a goats meta, it like there's no need to protect your team. The main reason for going high ground is you get like good positioning and you don't take early spam damage coming out of the bottom door. Actually, you know what'd be really cool to see is an entire team of goats huddle on this mega so that whenever they drop, you just annihilate them immediately. Just for first fight, and then right after that, you just rotate back up. I think that'd be really cool to see. Just like had it at their first fight, and then after the drop. Bubble came out early from Vancouver Titans again. It was before Bumper started swinging. The Bumper couldn't swing in that crab at all, and Super has Shatter. Ally Bubble is down. Super's kiting back. Super split himself on purpose there because he's looking for a Shatter and he's looking to pinch. Okay, so Sinatra Rascal go that way. Super and Moth go this way. So keep in mind, Lucio is with Super. Okay, so Super has the speed boost, and then Sinatra has LOS on Super, can bubble, and then Rascal can get pinned. So if you're Bumper coming in here, you can shield the pin, or shield the shatter, or you can shield the stun, right?
Okay.
So there's the stun. Super missed the shatter though. But yes, that was 100% intentional, and you saw how quick. They might have a quick call for that, and it might be like something like setup or like prepare to pinch. to instantly kite a choke, okay? With
Okay.
so that's really good on the shock side to set that up that quickly. That could even be a preset plan because they hold choke to whenever they kite back to set this up. That's more likely what it is. It's pre-planned to set that up. So they did the same thing again, right?
Yeah, counter.
They set up the same thing, the shatter this way. I think Brig was actually, yeah, Rascal was playing on this side though. Most likely you like set your Brig up with your run this time because the pinch won't work again, right? And this way Rascal can kind of add some protection against Super whenever Super shattering, so he's there more sort of protect and then have an aggressive shatter. But Super shatters and Bumper says, "Hey, what's up?" But the trans from Violet comes in, White bomb up, Beat comes down, and now super aggressive on Bumper. Okay, so Diva's up in the air, Beat comes in. They don't have Diva and Mech to eat any damage, so you get Beat, so you have health advantage. They're out of Mech, you can push on Bumper. And see, just that's the biggest thing between OWL teams, contenders teams, trials teams, tier 3, is how quickly you are to make decisions and act on them. Okay, this is a good example of you have no time to communicate, right? It is, we get Beat, everybody knows to be immediately on Bumper, with or without bubble, because you have the advantage either way. And now your bomb goes up, they use Beat. And now you're lost, now you need to back up. So that wasn't even like, obviously it was the fault of the shock, but the biggest thing is their Vancouver's Beat came in second. Vancouver got early value, forcing shock to use the Beat with like the bomb and then engage, and they didn't get value, which allowed the Titans to counter Beat and then get value that way. Okay, so that wasn't necessarily any fault of any individual play. It was just like how the ultimates kind of fell. Okay, so just shock not having any ults to engage, and then grab them and choke. Every single time they take high ground. Both teams did. Second point. A second you win the first team fight, you take high ground. And the difference is most teams in SA run like dotes, so they can control this high ground and this high ground. And that's majority of what second point Gibraltar is meta for. But if you run goats into that and you all group an anchor payload and then give your like Zen on that mega, or I think the mini right here, and then you guys anchor point, that's your like counter to this. Hack school. You need to be here, my guy. Second they drop. There you go. They all need to be on super. Super dropped way early. Don't think they're grouped at all on Bumper. So yeah, still. Yeah, they weren't very grouped at all here. They all need to be with Bumper, ready to play aggressive the second they drop. The only person who shouldn't be up playing aggressive is Janu, because he's looking to eat the grav. Okay? Janu needs to be DMing their team when they drop so he can eat the grav. Or, like, be playing mind games, right? But everybody else should be ready to play super aggressive and kill super the second he drops. Barali came in from Vancouver and then, like, immediate shatter. And that was... Hold up, let's analyze super shatter. Super kiting, giving space, right? Jump back, and then Bumper got boot forward in swinging range of Super. They used bubble earlier, so Super felt free to shatter. Okay, so Super kiting back, giving space. They already used alley bubble, and then a boop came in. That's 3 green lights to shatter. And Super got bubble when he shattered, so it was just beautifully coordinated on shock. They did everything right. And Vancouver didn't do anything wrong necessarily. They just weren't with bumper playing aggressive enough whenever shock dropped off high ground. Huge boop, Choibin. And he did get bubble just so they couldn't stun and insta-kill him. And once again, that means that if you are super, you have to drop defensively because you bubble Choibin, okay? Okay, just drop straight into the middle of them, super. Yeah, that's fine. I'm assuming that's just because they had Grav, and they're looking to drop and use Grav offensively. DM's up here. Sinatra should Grav. Be able to. I meant to say. So bomb comes in. That's Sinatra's green light to go aggressive and grab these 3. And the rest of his team play defensive and then follow up on the grab after he gets it. Right? There it is. And then boom, they're all coming in, right? Just poor super over here. As long as they can kill Simon Sue, which they probably won't be able to, it's worth it. They left Violet on high ground. That's a big pro to having Choibin set up in here, the rest of the team being on here. I think you have to get up this way. But then that leaves Violet high ground. There's nobody on Goats who can contest Violet when he's on high ground, right? So the entire shock defense was planned to leave Violet on high ground and give him that advantage. I think shock could have played a little bit more defensive or passive after they got the boop off high ground and pushed the value of them having high ground for longer before they dropped. Because as long as you have high ground, like you decide the engagement, right? And if you wait till you have bubble or wait till you're closer to bubble and then let them group on cart and then drop down a hard engagement on a target, that's where you'll get the chaotic value of the engagement being in your favor. Violet did get a discorded volley and Simon Sue killed Simon Sue in Grav. They killed Bumper. Wow, this is actually going the way of shock. Focus fire is just coming through. Wow, that's Sinatra. If Violet didn't kill Simon Sue and Grav, not only would Simon Sue have his own Grav, but he wouldn't be able to. He wasn't able to bubble Bumper and himself to like keep themselves from dying. And so if Simon Sue, the main source of damage on Vancouver Titans, was able to stay alive, and then bubble to keep Bumper, the second highest source of damage on Vancouver Titans, alive, Vancouver should have won that fight. I'm curious to see where Choibin sets up now that they already did that boop. If he's doing the same thing again, then the bubble needs to come out even sooner. Okay, they didn't even take high ground, but yes, he did set up there. So most likely the second Titans get there, bubble would come out so that he doesn't like get prediction stunned. Vancouver, you're a bunch of bots. Look how split. Look how split, dude. What did I just say? If the team is holding high ground, right? You do one of two things. One, you take high ground, which they said, "Oh no, oh heck no, we got booped. We're not doing that again," right? They could have gone over the box and then come taking high ground this way, which would mean they can't get booped, right? Until they get to here. But either way, they're getting value. Actually, they shouldn't have gone high ground because if they got to right here, that's really good for this pinch. Okay, so it's smart for them not to go high ground. They made the right call. The problem is, once again, I was saying, put this in here, and then play here with your team, like pushing the payload. Instead, they have Simon Sue here, pushing cart. And if you want anybody pushing cart, it's your Diva, because your Diva has instant mobility. Your Diva is the most mobile character on Goats, and Diva is the one that needs to be pushing cart, right? That's the moment of panic that Bumper sees with Rascal dropping down straight onto him. Okay, and then Simon Sue with this moment of oh my, we messed up, right? Because he bubbled Haxel. Because Bumper got booped out of LOS because SF Shock counted a 3-2-1 engage on Ryan. Okay? Watch this one more time. So Super's up top, sees Simon Sue split himself from the team. 3-2-1 drop on Ryan. Ready? Go. Boom. Super drops his bubble. Gets a stun. Moth boops Ryan back, right? So all three of that at the exact same time. Instantly pushing Ryan. Once again, 3-2-1 engagements are so important with bubble every time, pushing a set target, right? Ryan, 3-2-1, go. Bubble comes in, Diva boops, Brig looks for stun or knockback, right? And you just destroy a given target. And even if you don't boot or kill Ryan, right? Let's say Bumper gets a ton of peel, then all of a sudden you can turn around and Simon Sue is even more separated. Instead, holy crap, look how split Shot got. Okay, so that's bad. Mid-fight, calling, right? Super pushed on one target. The rest of the team rotated for some reason, and it was just chaos.
No surprise there. They're going to try to engage with the sound barrier. Jumping onto Super, just a really aggressive move to kill that main tank on the dark side. And now finally...
So really good engagement from Shock, but very poor execution after the initial abilities came through. Holy crap, Simon Sue popped off. And I know I'm pronouncing the name wrong, but I'm not Korean. I'm super white. I don't know how to pronounce anything. Super had to drop to engage. Ah, man, if Super had to drop when he did, but if they were able to get trans out a second sooner and save Super, Super were able to swing and grab, probably have Shatter, and then block Bumper Shatter, and that fight might have been winnable. So, yeah, that was just unlucky from Shock. I don't think there's much they could have done better. They tried, but it's just a little bit unluckers. Simon Sue on high ground is okay because he gets good angle like behind Ryan's shield for splash damage from the back line, but at the same time he doesn't get any primary fire damage, and if he is to drop to rotate to like get behind Ryan's shield and do primary fire damage on focus targets, which is what you ultimately want to do, Rascal should be, as Super pushes up, Rascal should be rotating around this side to watch for whenever Simon Sue drops so he can call that target. So, look what Bumper does. Super plays his corner, Bumper plays his corner. The Ryan with the corner to this left is always going to win. Look how strong like that comes out for Bumper. It was swing and just a knockback. Like, holy crap. 2-3 strong swings with like that knockback is nutty. Shock does stabilize though. Even fight and payload. Moth, once again, looking for boop. Okay. Whew. Slime booping Super to this corner. Super can't block. So that was coordinated well. Got Choibin only. That trans was huge. Beat the equalize. Huge shatter in a grab. Super got a kill and pin. That should be, yep, nice. Well done from Shock. That's beautiful ult usage from Shock. Every ult went in their favor. Guy and Rob, you guys are falling asleep, aren't you?
What?
I said you guys are falling asleep. Yeah.
Nah.
Super. Okay, so remember, Ryan swings like this way, right? Super goes in, bubble comes out too early. Okay? So by the time Super gets to bumper, the bubble, I believe, is almost destroyed. Yep. Okay. So bubble's getting destroyed, and then bumper's first swing. Look how far it knocks back Super. I thought that, yeah, I think beginning of the hitbox of it knocked him back. And then Haxel stuns him. And look at Vancouver's positioning. all on Super. So he's about to get destroyed. Holy crap, poor Super. Yeah, so yeah, like the biggest thing Super did wrong was half bubble timing, and then half, like, whenever he called the 3-2-1, he was out of range. Okay.
Okay.
So that one misplay lost them the fight. Look, he was here, and he said 3-2-1, drops his shield, swings, whiffs the entire first swing. Bumper took one step back, karate, like matrix time, just like took a step back, dodged the punch, right? Try to like, get the exact second. Come on. So look, Super begins his swing here. Look at that distance. Like, you can't do that. He needs to be holding the lane, first of all. Super likes to play this corner. Super loves corners. Super's a corner guy. He's always playing corners as Ryan. But in this specific situation, you want to hold main lane. Already is like to the side of bumper. So if you're going to engage, you want to make sure that you're keeping yourself like in line with your team. Okay? Instead, Super's like this, where it's like a little bit more diagonal, and that allows for the the correct line. He's that far off, and that's a big split. Okay, so even just like being that off center to your team allows for bumper to take one step in and easily split Super, and then the boot comes in, and the stun and the late bubble timing is what killed Super. So that's a skill that's comes with experience and a lot of practice on Reinhardt, is making sure your team is centered behind you. Okay? Very, very important. Vancouver, bumper, you should have held doors. Because once again, a bubble pin right there would have done so much. Shock only has bomb. Rascal's down. Shatter and Moth. Moth died. So now, Super's just given up. He's like, okay, it's over, guys. Alright. So, we'll...
Close match.
Yeah. Finish this map. And then we sleep.
I like it.
A ponerlo a prueba.
Once again, look at Rascal. Playing opposite sides of Ryan. Looking to pinch. Okay, and then Rascal, the second he sees that Briggs pushing up, rotates out. Okay, so watch. Probably Sinatra made the call, or somebody over here told Rascal to just back up. And the reason for that is they were playing super grouped like this. So if they move this lineup, right, to like here, Rascal being here and the rest of the team being here is just an easy like split. So the communication from Shock, seeing that Rascal's not going to be able to get a high value boop because Bumper's not going to try to push this team into here, is good comms. When they actually probably could have done it because Bumper did end up playing aggressive. Boop came on a Haxel though, or sorry, the Sun. And then, so Shock fell apart. They half kited, So it was definitely Sinatra because Sinatra was the first to back out. Sinatra looked at Rascal and said, "Oh crap, we need to like back up. We need to reset, guys." So they back up, and then the second they begin their kite, Bumper pushes in. See, so Bumper sees Sinatra. Sinatra's taking steps to the left. Okay. So think about if you're Bumper, right? Look at their positioning. Sinatra keeps moving to the left, and then the second Sinatra starts to kite out, all of a sudden, there's 3 here and 3 here. So if you take all 6 of your team and push the 3 in here, who first of all it's outside of bubble line of sight, you're gonna be able to get 3 kills easy. Okay, you always need to be looking for quick engages whenever you can split the team. You gotta be quick and decisive. That's not even a 3-2-1. It's just a push, Ryan, go, because your team is sitting there, right? Your whole team is sitting here like this, just waiting. You don't have to 3-2-1 if there's an opportunity like this. Okay, you see 3 here, you see 3 here. You say like, Ryan, go, and you just go, and the rest of your team should be right behind you, amping speed, bubbling you, following up. So you see how many are in there, and now Shock is completely split. So Shock kited late, and Vancouver took advantage of it.
You can see Hoxall was making space for the rest of the Titans, just pushing players back, and they got caught. The San Francisco Shock split 3 and 3, and then the collapse on the flank does it. Shock may not have an opportunity to defend here at the end of A, considering Rascal just spawned.
I mean, they might not have a graviton surge at the end of A as well. Sinatra's still a ways away. Summons a little bit closer here. We're into overtime though.
Yeah. So re-engaging, you have no time to re-engage, right? You have to take a fight. You get Sinatra on high ground. You get Moth, who's contesting D.Va kind of on this outside, and you're Super, right? You have this payload in your way of the Rhine. You should know that Bumper has Shatter because he got all that cleave damage on the people on the Mega, right? So you know he has Shatter. It's half Super's fault for committing to playing this middle. He should have rotated to be in front of his team. That's the biggest mistake Super made. Now when his team's coming out of this choke, coming and taking main, establishing this that his team is holding this space is good, right? But once you win the space, you need to group with your team and push. Okay? So one jump to the side, like even with shield, like drop shield, jump, shield back up, and then push on Bumper. Instead, he goes for the D.Va, which questionable, right? And then that opens up a free Shatter, with Bumper seeing a 3-man Shatter right here that'll win them the game. Or this point at least. But he did hesitate. Now Rally comes in to play super aggressive on Bumper. Grab comes in, that's huge grab. And then the Rally. But the problem is, now Shock is down Rascal, and Super gets pinned. They trans as well. Vancouver's counter rallying, or no, Vancouver is using Rally. Vancouver's coming up on 3 ults. Okay. One of the biggest things in comms, like in fights like this, right, is calling when you have your ultimate close to grab, close to shatter, close to beat, close to trans, or I'm about to trans, saying stuff like that, so that you don't end up stacking like both ults at the same time. Whenever Vancouver only needs to use trans this fight to engage, you're transing second, which will give you the end of trans advantage, and then you're saving beat to counter Choyobin's bomb. But they didn't communicate the stacked ults with the Rally, okay? Literally, they came in the exact same second. Watch this. Okay, just absolute panic. It was because the grab came out, but still, communicating your ults, they only needed a trans to win that fight. And that's a very hard thing to do, is keep track of your ults and learn to like use your ults correctly in mid-fight. So if Vancouver just used trans, holy crap, I went all the way back, dude. If Vancouver had just used trans, right, they would have had beat to sustain afterwards, would probably would have won them the fight.
It's very hard to do this. The assault map that they've won in the last head-to-head.
Oh my gosh, dude. But that's too far. Come on, Q. Q, please. 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 I made a mistake. I clicked back. I'm sorry. Please, let me click back forward. Please. Please. Pretty please. Oh my gosh. I just want to skip.
Another reason for my teammates to stay on the payload, but they never do. They never do. Hostile down. Good pick for Shock right off the bat. There goes Twilight as well. So
It's way now.
Yes.
At the start of the map, the Hawk chose
Yes,
hard.
we skipped some.
Clean sweep.
Okay, we skip some more. Yes, let's go.
See Hawks always making space for the
Okay, so now we got this last fight.
No.
Right. So if they didn't use beat and trans right here, right? I mean, actually, Simon Sue still instantly died even with those ults. So it might have still have been lost. But if they had beat right now, so let Bumper play super aggressive on super, right? Instead they have Shock has beat, and Vancouver has nothing to counter or to sustain. So yeah, that Slam and Twilight, if they had communicated ults mid-fight, they would have potentially won that.
again. The synergy between Sinatra and Violet has been one of the best aspects of the Shock today. They come in, pull off the Graviton surge, and Violet is picking people off. You can tell that the Shock's game plan is to hide just below Bumper. When you look at both these teams,
So holding him for 2.5 minutes
it's interesting though because
is enough for Shock to have 2 full ultimate fights.
very hard for them to win. There's so much more time in the bank for the Shock there, and especially how fast the Shock were able to take point A last.
But with overtime, let's say 3.
Shock only needs to push his payload as far as the Titans got it in their round just a moment ago. If they can push it that far, they will win the match. That's all the farther they need to go.
Where is Bumper?
Not like the Shock who tried to defend.
I know he's bottom right, but Shock isn't looking for him at all. So Shock tried to do it. Shock tried to do exactly what Vancouver did to them, right? Vancouver is playing in here, that way they're not getting the long range poke damage, right? But then Vancouver was smart. The second Shock got to this point, Vancouver kites out. They like, alright, kite. They all got out. Instead, at the exact same time, Shock said 3, 2, 1, go. And watch how quick it is. Just bubble and it's like super easy. So now, right, that bubble wasn't even needed. Now Shock used their speed boost to engage in here. And now Vancouver has them pinched. Okay? So Shock and Vancouver switch positions. Now Shock's at the disadvantage. But Vancouver doesn't have the bubble. If Vancouver still had bubble right then, they would have been able to win that fight. But Bumper kind of sort of forgot that bubble was used. Or maybe Simon Sue said, like, I have bubble in like 2-3 seconds, and Bumper thought he could live long enough. But still, it's like too risky. You can just play slow, hold him in that position. Oh, that boop. That boop was huge. Who was that? Is that Moth again? Look at Moth, dude. What a beast. Look at him. Instantly killed. How many times has Moth won Shock a fight with his boops? A
Too
lot.
much.
A lot.
Slime. So again, the Shock just are not going to be denied here.
So well done from Shock. Moth Boot won them second fight, and Bumper Mistake won Shock first fight. So at least Shock was decisive on what they're doing that attack, unlike the rest of these matches being very undecisive. At least they've been playing safe for the most part, but either way, Shock hasn't been able to mid-fight focus targets and make decision on what they're running to do. Okay, we'll be done for tonight. But like, how was that? What do you guys think?
Nice.
Nice.
Probably like the two biggest things to take away is focus on spreading targets. Pay attention to abilities like Zarya's bubble and speed boost, right? And you just have to learn to weigh all these factors into your confidence and decision making as Reinhardt's. You have to like focus on your positioning and the amount of resources you're forcing your team. You never want to force your Zarya to use her bubble defensively if all possible. You want to use your bubbles offensively to engage and get the early fight value instead of having your Zarya save you. Okay? You want to make their Zarya have to save their Rein. Okay? And if you swing on their Rein and their Zarya aren't coordinated, expecting the bubble whenever you push on him, their Rein might not get any value out of his bubble. And then you gain space, you gain ult charge, and they got nothing. They lost space, they lost an ability, and now you're on point with an advantage, and you use your bubble first. So your bubble will have a 1 second cooldown advantage, and the second you get that, you can play aggressive again. And in addition to that, your Zarya has space, your Rein has more shield, and you have abilities coming off cooldown sooner. Okay?
Okay.
Alright. That was good though, overall. Well done. If you two can...
We don't.
Huh?
No. Continue talking.
Yeah. I want to do a lot more like public coaching and stuff like this on Twitch. My Twitch is Gui3 for those watching on YouTube, but... And then you can come and ask questions and stuff.
Okay.
And then I'm also trying to set up a lot more like public coaching for individuals who would like to be coached like this. Not for this long, of course. It's just because you two are like my Reinhardts. But I'm working on setting all that up. Anyways, good night.